All right, folks, gather around because today we're diving into the top 5 conditions that like to hitch a ride with PTSD on what's called a secondary basis. So, what's this secondary basis business? Well, think of it like PTSD is the main event, the headliner, but sometimes PTSD brings along some side effects, like the opening act you didn't ask for. These secondary conditions pop up because of or get worse due to the PTSD. You might have picked up PTSD from combat, military sexual trauma, or some other not so fun event while serving, whether you were stationed at home or abroad. These secondary conditions can be anything from headaches to sleep apnea to even erectile dysfunction. And because I love a good top 5 list, here are the most common ones I see, in no particular order. Headaches. Yep, PTSD can be a real pain, literally. Veterans often develop headaches, whether they're tension headaches, migraines, or just the regular old kind. Maybe you had them before, but now they're more intense and frequent. There's a study that I often hear. It's called Migraine Maladaptive Brain Responses to Stress from Headache. This talks about how repeated stress can mess with your brain and lead to chronic headaches. Fun, right? Next is sexual dysfunction. Stress and emotional fallout from PTSD can mess with your sex life. And then there are the meds. SSRIs like Zoloft, Celexa, Paxil, Prozac are known culprits here. There is a 2016 article in Mental Health Clinician called Sexual Dysfunction and Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitors and Potential Solutions, which does a deep dive into how these meds can put a damper on things in the bedroom. Next is gastrointestinal disorders. PTSD doesn't just mess with your head, it can also mess with your gut. We're talking about things like IBS and GERD, often linked to PTSD, depression, and anxiety. One go-to study I hear a lot about is the Journal of Neuroscience and Rural Practice titled Irritable Bowel Syndrome. Is it irritable brain or irritable bowel? It's also how stress can affect the limbic system, which in turn can stir up all sorts of gut problems. Next is sleep apnea. Now, this one's a bit of a hot topic. A lot of vets get service connected for sleep apnea, but plenty have been denied too. The jury is still out on whether PTSD directly causes sleep apnea, but there's definitely a correlation. One angle to consider is how PTSD can mess with your sleep. Fragmented sleep and weird REM patterns can lead to issues like obstructive sleep apnea. And then there's weight gain. PTSD can turn into a perfect storm for weight gain, whether it's through stress eating, avoiding the gym because of anxiety, or just not getting out as much. Those extra pounds can start to pile on. And once the weight's on, it can lead to a whole host of other issues like plantar fasciitis, heart problems, hypertension, sleep apnea, and diabetes. I like to reference studies like 3-year follow-up of participants in a commercial weight loss program. Can you keep it off? From the archives of internal medicine and psychological stress and change in weight among U.S. adults. From the American Journal of Epidemiology. Better yet, in the VA's eyes, ratings do become permanent without having the permanent and total status, and I break that down in this next video.